Good morning, viewers. Good morning, everyone, especially all that are watching me, all that are watching my videos, encouraging me on, liking my videos, commenting. Good morning and good morning, everyone around the world, wherever you are. It's encouraging to at least know that people are watching your videos and people are commenting and even saying, oh, I didn't know this was like this. It's encouraging. And I thank you all for taking your time to watch these videos because these I'll be doing them often. Okay, I'll be doing them often. And for those who do not know me, those who will be watching me for the first time today, my name is Honey Nyabs. Honey Nyabs, and I've not been too long in YouTube. Actually, I'm less than a month old, and uh, I am encouraged especially by those who are watching my videos. So kindly, if you're new and you're watching, kindly give a like, give a share, and even subscribe, yeah, so that we can be moving on day by day. As I promised my viewers, I'll be coming back with different topics as we move on. And I believe these are just topics that impact all of us, yeah, impact me and impact you in general, yeah. So I had said yesterday that I was going to talk about culture, which I'll do today, I think, at some point. But I feel like talking a little bit about peer pressure. Yeah, peer pressure is a big thing, and it affects all of us at any age, at any stage of life. From children to old people, we are affected by peer pressure. Yeah, and it's a big thing. It's really, really a big thing. There are some people who cannot handle peer pressure. If they cannot be like their colleagues, or they cannot feel like they belong to a place, I mean that finishes them. Yeah. So let's talk slightly about peer pressure. And when I'm talking about pressure, it is that effect. Yeah. It's that effect that you get from the people around you, from your colleagues, from whichever group that you belong to. Yeah, that the kind of way they do things, the kind of way they carry themselves, that has an impact on you. Kind of an influence in your life. Yeah, and you feel like for you to belong, you need to be like those people. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So peer pressure. So peer pressure affects everyone. And let me start with the old people. Actually, people think old people have got no pressure. In fact, they have the most pressure. Yeah, people of all ages have peer pressure. Uh, Let me start with teenagers. Even children actually have pressure. hmm have you seen little children, like when they're playing with the others? Although playing is the most important thing for the kids, and in developmentally, that is the best thing for them to do. But even as they do that with their own peers, you find that they experience pressure, because sometimes you will find children like playing, but they come out maybe with gadgets or toys to play with. So you find a certain kid sees this toy and then he feels like, huh? Because my friend has got, and these are children of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Because my friend has got this, I'll ask my parents also to buy for me this. Yeah. So they feel like they want to have what their friends have. Yeah. They just want to look like the same. Yeah. So you find even at a young age, children experience that kind of a thing, that they think this is normal because your parents can buy for you that. And because that is the in thing now, this is the game we are playing now, that is what I need. Yeah. Look at even things like skates, although maybe children of a higher age, they are so much into skating. So you find, and they're not very cheap, those skateboards. So you find if one kid has been bought one, I know they share out there, but you'll always find children crying to their parents, I want this, I want this. My friend has this. That is like peer pressure. Like that is peer pressure for them. Yeah. They want, they want to look the same. Yeah. But there are other peer pressures that experience, but that's just an example. But when we come to adolescents, yeah, mhm, I want to talk about the peer pressure that adolescents experience. They are not the only ones, but normally when people talk about peer pressure, they think we are talking about that age group. But that age group also has a kind of special pressure that they have because of their age. Yeah, those ones just because they're in a particular category of their age, to say 12 years to 20, those are these are adolescents to teenagehood, yeah, all the way to those who are in university. So, but I'm talking of from 12 years to 19 years, those kids when they're adolescents and they're teenagers. According to psychology, we say this is a very difficult age for these children, yeah, uh, simply because of their stage of development. You find these children are uh, they have grown up somewhere in a home or wherever they have grown up. They have seen how things are being done. They see their parents doing this, they see their friends' parents doing this. They have gone even to places of worship. They see how people do things, they have made friends. So as they grow, by the time they are even that age of adolescence, in their mind, yeah, in their mind, they have an idea of what is good for them, what is appealing to them, and what is good and what they really want, yeah, what they want to be in life. It starts that young, yeah. But another thing that happens to them at that age, their intellect is growing very fast, yeah. Their intellect is quite fast, so you find these children, even apart from uh, knowing what exactly they want, yeah, apart from knowing what exactly they want, they also want to express it. Yeah, they express it. They want to talk about it. You find now they've reached an age where, because parents, are used to children who are being taken care of when they're younger. When you plan things for them, when you buy clothes for them, there's no much like pushing that I want to wear this, I want to wear this. Although I know children, even at 3 years, 5 years, children sometimes they already know their taste. Yeah, they know what they want. So even at the age of 3 years or 5 years old, when a child is trying to tell you, I don't like this dress, I like this dress with flowers, it's because they have like a sense of they like this and they don't like this. Yeah. So always handle your children well. I don't think like this child is just disturbing me because they have just seen this dress. And then parents, because we like being authoritative, we say no. What you're going to wear is what I say. At the age of 3, at the age of 4, 5, yeah. When a kid starts telling you, Mama, I don't want this dress, I want this other one. Reason with that child, yeah. I mean, if the dress is there and you're not going to wear it another point, just know that she likes that dress. Yeah, they have that sense of like, I like this and I don't like this. Yeah. I'm not talking about all the age groups. I'll do that one of the days. But I was talking about the adolescents now because they are quite expressive. You find also uh, they have a difficult time with their parents because Now the parents are finding them different. They are finding them talking too much, demanding so much, demanding change, because they express and they say, no, I see you doing this all the time, but I don't want to do that anymore. Why can't we do it another way? But we find parents, because they are so authoritative, they think now, the child is being stubborn. Yeah, so they put their foot down so much and say, no, what you'll do is what I tell you to do. Yeah. So this is a difficult age for them. Also, for parents who do not know that these kids are undergoing change, they have a very big problem. But what I would like to encourage parents is that when your child is an adolescent, is gone to teenagehood, listen to them when they say things they really want to be listened to. They have something to say. Listen to them even when you don't want to listen, even when they are saying things, even telling you about things you do not understand, please try and listen. Mhm. Build that patience to listen to your children and reason with them. Yeah. And in the end, I mean, you can direct them. Yeah. But if you give them a listening ear, even direct them to the right way is easier. But when you tell them, no, I do not want any of your input, I do not want to hear uh that you don't want to go to this place with us, yeah, you will do what we want, then they become rebellious. Yeah. Do you know why teenagers, people say they are rebellious? Yeah. Sometimes it is because of that stage. And I don't think they really want to be. It's because they are misunderstood. They don't want to be treated as children because actually they are no longer children. They are growing and their intellect is quite high. And then they are confused. They are confused because also their body is growing so fast. Uh-huh. And you find like, there are a lot of things. When their body is growing so fast and becoming maybe sexually active, you know, you find children have got all sorts of issues they are going through. And again, sometimes they're also going through a difficult age because sometimes they do not like part of their body parts. Some of them are growing so tall, some of them are adding so much weight, some of them are remaining short. And you find, others are branching into what they can do well, others cannot do that well, like others can play soccer so well, others you know, can play board games so well and others can't. There are all sorts of things they are going through. What they need when your child is an adolescent, I'm talking of 12 years and even 11 years actually, and all the way to teenagehood, you'd rather, as a parent, learn to develop patience to listen to your child, let them talk. Yeah. Even when they are younger than that, yeah, they have a style of fashion. But at this age, yeah, they have their own style of fashion. And unless the fashion they want is really, really like, I mean, yeah, allow them to have autonomy, to have a say on what they want. Yeah. Even when you go to shop with them, yeah, do not stand them, don't put them captive like you have to stand here and I have to choose for you. Let them choose what they want. Let them show you what they want. Let them explain why they want it. It's a fashion. And if there's nothing wrong with it, let them have it. You'll have an easier time. Yeah. You'll have an easier time. But as a parent, of course, you're there to guide your children. But you can develop this environment of being able to guide them when you listen to them. So they go through a lot of, it's a hard time for them because of their growth. It's a hard time for them because uh, of their development intellectually. They find they can even see what you're really saying is wrong. Yeah. And they don't want to hear it. They want to correct you, but you don't want to be corrected. So they become rebellious. So at this age, sorry, I'm still on the topic of peer pressure. I'm just explaining something. At this age, you find these peers, these adolescents, these teenagers, they are always, you know, always wanting to be together with their own friends. Yeah, they stay together. They want to be in places together. Yeah, they want to go out together. Yeah, and the parents say, we don't know what has happened to our children. Yeah, this is the period that parents are saying, yeah, our teenagers are not listening to us. Whatever we say, they're always arguing. It's an age where they argue. That is the right time for them to argue. I mean, that is in development. That is the right thing for them to do. Uh-huh. But that also, as you have brought up your children, they have to do it with respect. If you guide them, but this is a very argumentative stage where they go through because of what I've just said, and they prefer to be with their peers more than with their parents. Yeah, that is a natural stage that they go through. It is, but you find parents, uh, uh, some of them, because they don't understand, they say, my child nowadays, I don't know what I have done. They don't like staying with me. They do not like doing things with me. Yeah, and of course they don't. Yeah, of course they don't. They like doing things with their peers. Yeah, because if you ask these teenagers why they do that, they'll give you one answer: because their peers listen to them and they understand them. Yeah, that is the biggest reason that I've always got. It's because they understand them. Their parents do not understand them. Their parents judge them. The parents don't want to listen to them, so uh, they will obviously, lie towards their peers. And now you see now, having peers is a very good thing, as I always say. Yeah, and but we have children from different backgrounds, and depending, from there's a stage down there that is the stage where we mold our children. Yeah, I mean, so when we are molding them and they have a particular culture, they could be feeling a bit confident, and with a little self-esteem, they can stand up for themselves even when they are with their peers. They might not really get involved in uh, harmful behaviors, but you find it very easy. Yeah, because of peer pressure, and because they do not have a firm teaching on what is good or what is bad, on what is good, what the parents consider good. You generally just tell them, I do not want to see you sniffing, I do not want to see you drinking, but you don't give them the reasons. And they find their peers doing that, they'll want to try. Yeah, that is how they start trying these things. Uh-huh. Because they have not developed that culture of even asserting themselves and saying, I know these things are harmful, they can do this to me. So, but again, because they want to look like their peers, they will lean more towards their peers. So it's a difficult age. I want to tell you, parents, teenagehood is a difficult age for these kids. They go out there to be understood. They found themselves mixed up with things. I mean, if they are not uh, confident or enough, or they don't have enough self-esteem, they will just be drawn into negative behaviors. But not all children are drawn into negative behavior. It depends on they have how assertive, how confident, and what self-esteem they have up to that point. Yeah, so you see, the self-esteem these children, the peer pressure that these children go through at this point is because they really, really want to be with their peers, with their peer group. They really want to be with them. They really want to do things with them. Of course, that is the peer pressure they have. They do not want to stay with their parents. This is a natural stage of life. Children at that age do not even want to be like you. They don't want, if you ask them, even if you're a pilot, even if you're a doctor, or even if you're, I don't know who, if you ask your child at that age what they want to be when they grow up, the answer will be most likely they don't want to be like you. They don't want to be a teacher like you. They don't want to, work in a bank like you. Yeah. they don't want because they don't admire. Yeah. They want to be what they talk about there in their peer group. Yeah. But when they are 5, when they are 6, they are 7, even a long time ago, even 10, even a teenager, you could ask, and then they say, I actually really want to be like my mom. I want to really know how to cook like my mom. Yeah. But most likely at that age, when they're teenagers, they don't want to be anything like you. Yeah. And it is a stage that parents want to understand. It's not that they hate you now. These teenagers really want understanding from their parents. They really want understanding and acceptance of what they are going through. They really long for that. Yeah, that's for sure. That is one thing I can tell you. It's not that they really don't want to be with their parents, but they want that space. Yeah, and if you can give it to them, give them autonomy, listen to them. Also, when you're talking, let them also have an input, and then you could then direct it to the position that you think is good for your family. Yeah, because all the time, all the same, parents are the ones to plan the issues of their families, and they most likely they know what is good, but to give the children time mhm, to give their input and give them reason, just reason with them. They really, really reason. Their intellect is quite high at this point. So they will want to belong or look like their peers. So that's the peer pressure they go through. And of course, they are doing so many things. If their peer pressures are doing well in school and the others are not doing well, they'll feel it. Yeah. If it's what they are doing, what they are involved in, and all that. Yeah. If you, as a parent, think your child cannot go out there to be with the other peers and you want them to be in the house, that will be a very big issue. Although at this age of teenagehood, teenagers need to be involved in the things they love. Yeah. I always tell teenagers, always know you're minors and somebody's taking care of you. So this is a time to, go out and get involved in what you like, the sports you like. You want to go out for movies, go out for movies. Avoid staying in the same rooms with boys and girls, because your bodies are developing so fast. Yeah, so you'll want to obey your body and, you know, all that. Yeah? So this is a time, if they knew these teenagers, they get involved in productive things. Yeah. Uh, yeah, because most likely they get involved in things they think others are doing, like sniffing, like taking cigarettes. Nowadays we have social media. Even when you read, you can always see the consequences, the bad consequences of those things. So get involved in the things that will be productive to you. Even in sports, you see, even in the Western world, this is the period where if you're gonna be a soccer player in the future, you start at that age. Yeah, Messi started at that age. Yeah, Ronaldo started at that age. Yeah, most of these they started from their clubs. Let them belong to a club if they like football. If they like art, they can belong there. That will help them because they need to remember they are minors. They need to remember when they get in too much trouble, they'll still come back to these parents of theirs. And now they will be forced to be under these parents. Okay? Yeah? So that is peer pressure. No, now parents also go through a lot of peer pressure. Yeah? Uh, Young parents want to be super parents, they want their children to do well. So sometimes they compare themselves with other parents. When they hear my children are going to this international school or they are going to this private school, maybe if they have money, they also move their children to that particular school, not looking at the needs of the kid. Always look at the needs of your child. What my child need at this point in life? Is it that I want my child to get a group that uh, can help her to learn some social skills proper, what does my child need at this point before you choose a school. But never choose a school because your friends have taken your child to another school. But that is peer pressure because you want to look like the other parents. Yeah. If uh, another child is doing sport or anything and is in another school, you also want to do that. But that's not the only peer pressure. We also have pressure because um, it is a stage. This is a developing stage for parents. This is when they are buying their items. Maybe if somebody has money, they have bought a plot, they have bought uh, they want to buy a car or a house or things like that. Yeah. And now, because they always meet with these friends of theirs, when they meet, this one will say, "Oh, do you know, we actually paid a down payment for our house." Those kind of things. So when you hear people, if you're not strong enough, you start, there's going to be commotion in the house. Yeah, if you are not strong enough to know that things come, they don't have to come at the same time with just like another couple. Yeah. They would have gone that far because maybe they planned earlier or somebody maybe gave them a boost. But somebody might listen to their friends and then when they go back home, they say, we are not doing this. I've been saying we need a house. We have to buy a house. Yeah. It's just because of peer pressure. Sometimes it's not because you really want that house. Yeah. It's because you want to look like the other people. But having a house is good because, I mean, in the end, it will be yours. Yeah. But it should not come out of peer pressure. The developments you want to do in your life, do not put a lot of pressure in your partner. Just go by your own plans that you first had. Yeah. But when you come from outside and then you say, "Today we need to talk," and you put your bag there or you put your laptop there, say, "Honey, we need to talk." Yeah. I was thinking, yeah, just because you had somebody bought a V8, whichever car. So I was thinking this car of ours is very, nowadays we can't continue driving this car. Yeah. So we need, and somebody is selling. Yeah. And from nowhere, just because of peer pressure, because your friends have managed to buy. So parents go through a lot of peer pressure. I'm just mentioning a few things. Yeah. Sometimes you think at the relationship of your friends is better than yours. Yeah. So you feel pressured. Yeah. Sometimes you look at, you know, there are many things. I mean, let me not mention, there are many, many, many things. Parents of our age who have got children who are adults now also go through a lot of peer pressure. Parents will always be parents. This is an age now, children are in university, they are choosing their courses. Some parents will come there and tell you, my child is doing law, my child is doing education, my child is becoming a pilot. hmm And of course, we know our children nowadays, the G and Z. Uh, Not actually only those, even us. I mean, we wanted to be what we wanted to be. Yeah, we are not going to be what our parents want. But although sometimes our parents can really look at us and know our strengths and they're trying to guide us. Yeah. But some parents cannot stand peer pressure. They will go, they hear the child of that person. One of them is becoming a lawyer and the other one is a soldier. The other one is a doctor. Then they kind of envy because those are things they themselves really think are the cream of society. So you come and you have that pressure because your children are not doing that. So sometimes you find that even relating to those people becomes you feel like you're inferior or not. So there are those kinds of peer pressures. There are WhatsApp groups left, right, and center. hmm Groups with your friends, groups with families. The people have to contribute money or belong to some certain financial uh, groups. And sometimes you're not able to do that. Yeah. And it hits you. Yeah. Because you still want to be like the other people. So peer pressure is everywhere. Peer pressure is with the old people. Old people will be saying, my children graduated, now they are married, People just want, there's a kind of way that we see life. We think that our children were supposed to grow, go to school, and go to university. After that, they get a job. After that, they get married. Some of us are wired like that. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't go like that. So, and when it doesn't go like that, you get that peer pressure. Yeah, but you have to be a strong person. We will be talking about this also, because sometimes you cannot be strong if you do not know yourself and if you do not have a culture for yourself, yeah, or the way you do things, what you consider important, yeah. So if you are not that person with some culture that strengthens you, I'm talking about personal culture, yeah. If you do not have that, maybe to cushion you, you will be a person who's always swayed left, right, and center by peer pressure. So peer pressure is all age groups. Ask me, I'll tell you the peer pressures I have. Yeah, uh it's a lot of them. I've given you an example, like now we are looking at our children. My friends at my age, they have the same kids. Some of them have taken their children abroad. Children are doing so well. They're even working there. They've gotten citizenship. Your child finished university, hasn't gotten a job. Sometimes that pressure, like, what didn't I do right? Yeah, and then you'll start feeling like there's something I did wrong. Yeah, so parents, there's nothing wrong that you have done, provided you have always wanted the best for your children. There's nothing wrong that unless you did something wrong, unless you yourself know that you did something wrong, that when the children really needed help to be somewhere, you said, I will not give help, or maybe that one you can blame yourself. But you always wanted the best for your kids. I mean, there's a whole list of things that take us where we are. Yeah. Children also have to know where they're going. They have to have known their strengths to know what they want. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that contribute to where we are in life. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, but peer pressure is real, and pressure is hard to withstand. But what we need to know is how to manage this peer pressure, how to cope, and how to take these comparisons. Yeah, so that we do not. Some people can even be caught up with shame. Yeah, thinking like now when we are being called in the estate to go and have a meeting, some people don't appear. Yeah, and you will find them in the house, and sometimes it's just because they think, yeah, my child, is not just like the other children. Yeah, I would have wanted my child to be here at this point. So you will sit in the house because shame is taken over. But let us be strong. Yeah, parents, let us be strong. I'm talking about parents today. I know parents go through a lot of things. Yeah, but people think they should have known. Yeah, so let us just be strong. Provided we if spiritual people also pray for their children and leave them to God and stand with them. Let us always stand with the children at every point of their lives. Yeah, giving them support. I'm not talking about financial support. I mean, it can be any kind of support, but always the support I'm talking about is being there. Yeah, being there and listening to them so that we can go through peer pressure well. So peer pressure is real. Peer pressure. If I tell you, even me, I go through a lot of peer pressure right now. A lot of it. Yeah. So, you can see I started a YouTube channel. Yeah. But thank God I'm not competing with any of my colleagues. Yeah. I don't think they even know I have it. Yeah. But of course, they're doing very well in other areas. Some of them have got offices somewhere, in Westlands, and having clients. When you see the group, when you read, you think, is it, is, how come they've gone that fast? Yeah, but everybody has their own journey. I think I'm happy where I am. Yeah, I'm happy talking right now the way I'm doing. So there's always lots. You have to know yourself. I mean, you have to know yourself, and for you not uh, to crumple under this thing of peer pressure. Okay, so I know I've just talked all around about it, but there's the psychology of peer pressure and how you can start developing it, because there are even old people without self-esteem. I mean, I was saying I'm sorry about self-esteem. So to help them even deal with these issues. So peer pressure is real. Yeah. From a very young age to there is no age group without peer pressure. Even those people who have retired. Yeah. If you retired and you do not have a social group around you, mhm, and maybe you retired and you moved from one place to the other. Now you're trying to build relationships with other people, and those people, because they belong to a certain social group, they do not want somebody else to come in. So people have a lot of problems, and start feeling like they don't belong. There are a lot of pressures, but when you know yourself and you know where you are, always you can be able to little by little manage this pressure that comes from all directions. Yeah. Socially, financially. Yeah, they come from anywhere. So let us be strong always, knowing that are you as children, if you're adolescents, if you're teenagers, if you're young adults, don't think you're the only ones with peer pressure. Your parents also have it. Yeah. Do not always be saying, you parents are doing so well and you don't care about us. No. I mean, we also have our peer pressures. We also have things we want to accomplish. So it's good to develop understanding at every stage of life. Yeah. Don't ever think that you are the only one going through something. Everybody is going through something. So that is a little bit about peer pressure, but one of the days I'll talk about the stages of human development. It will be so good to understand. Very important topic for parents. Uh-huh. Maybe one day I will talk about it. But today, if I get time, I'll talk a little bit about our personal culture and generally, culture generally. Okay, I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you.